the conclusion. The conclusion.
Like to turn this on.
Yeah, I think it turned off. That or the batteries died. Dead batteries?
No, it just takes forever. Chinese. I think it's a capacitor. Test, test, test. Okay. I'd like to invite those that are going to make remarks to come up on deck. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good.
So how long have you been doing this? Oh, wow. Oh, you're filming. Sorry.
I'm coming, I'm old. Those bones don't move as quick as they used to. That's still staggering.
Our program will commence with the American Legion Post 572 Color Guard, Honor Guard. We're very honored that they're here to honor the ceremony. So, Post 572, come aboard.
Forward, mark. Forward, mark.
We'll begin our program with a prayer from our chaplain, Toledo base USS VI, Mr. Tom Brown.
Good morning to everyone in attendance. I was asked by Paul to be here today. I am a member of the USS Toledo base, and at this time I'm going to give us a prayer. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless this gathering of submariners, friends, and family, and all honored guests. We gather here to remember the men and women who on December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy, lost their lives in defense of their country. This day of infamy would lead to a war that would be won by those who would be called members of the greatest generation. The freedom we enjoy here today was won by their sacrifice. We are honored to be aboard the USS Cod SS-224 that would be one of the ships that assured us this victory. Thank you for all the submarine veterans and the part that we play in it. In our prayers, we ask your protection for the men and women who are serving our country today. We would also keep in our prayers, even as today as we stand here, the war in Ukraine, and would put your blessings upon the people in Ukraine. We ask these things in your name, and all the people say, amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Very good. We're very honored today to have quite a lovely turnout. We've got special guests here, and certainly we're honored to have the Cleveland Mounted Police unit in representation. And I also see that we have the Coast Guard. We're going to invite them to come down. No need to stand in the back. We love our Coast Guard neighbors. Also, I want to give another thanks to the American Legion Post 572 Honor Guard. They have been stalwart in their participation in this program, rain or shine, when the temperatures are in single digits and the wind is biting. So we're very honored to have them here, and on this thankful, of course, for this very mild weather. I'd like to invite up Mr. Ed Bartlett of Bartlett Maritime to make a few remarks.
Thank you, Paul. My name is Ed Bartlett. I'm the founder and chairman of Bartlett Maritime Corporation. We're the company behind the effort to bring submarine repair to Lordstown and Lorraine, but I don't want to talk about that today, given the significance of today's date. We're standing on board the USS Cod, which is a Gato-class submarine. Represents the 228 fleet boats which held the line in World War II. At a time when the American Navy was small and had been decimated at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, it was our submarine force that took the battle to the enemy's doorstep, invading the enemy's territory and putting their ships to the bottom where they belonged. It was the submarine force that held the line. These are not my comments. I was recently at an event where Admiral Bill Houston, who's the commander of the submarine force in the United States Navy today, this was his theme. 8 submariners have been awarded the Medal of Honor. 7 of them were awarded the Medal of Honor for combat action in World War II. We're here today to honor those men and everyone who sailed with them in this victorious effort. Personally, I'm a veteran of the Cold War. I served on 3 attack submarines, the last of which, the Gato, that I served on was the second Gato, named for the first one, which was the class ship for these fleet boats. Admiral Red Ramage, his wife, was a sponsor of the Gato I served on, SSN 615. Red Ramage is one of the 7 Medal of Honor winners, awardees, for combat action during World War II. Today in Quonset Point, Rhode Island, this is the Pearl Harbor is being commemorated in a very unique way. The United States ship Arizona, SSN 803, is having its keel laid at General Dynamics Electric Boat in Quonset, Rhode Island. It's the next ship after the Arizona, which of course was tragically lost, with approximately half of the casualties that occurred at Pearl Harbor occurred to crew members on board the USS Arizona, the battleship. The next battleship, which will be in a Virginia class, extended length attack submarine, is having its keel laid today in Quonset Point, Rhode Island. I couldn't think of a more fitting time for that to happen. So I just want to thank Paul and thank the COD for everything they do here, and just remember everybody that participated in making this the greatest submarine force the world has ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marlin. By the way, I don't want anybody to think this is an exclusive submarine thing. We do have veterans from other branches of service, but our next is Brian Tomash, who is representing the COD base USS VI. If you'd like to come up and make some remarks. Another submariner.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming today.
It's another dreary Cleveland day. I served aboard submarines for 20 years. I started on one of the oldest fast attacks in the Navy, which was the USS Cod, finished up with the Henry L. Stimson, which was an SSBN ballistic submarine. We always were ready for the fight, but we always prayed for peace and worked for peace. I'd like to thank everyone that served with me and over those years, and I'm also here to thank all the veterans that are present today for their jobs that they have done faithfully for their years of service. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. As I said, not everybody up here is a submariner, so we have Chief Blind, if you'd like to come forward. I believe you are a tin can sailor.
Tin can sailor. We hunted submarines. We never caught them. In 35 years in the United States Navy, I sailed into many, many ports. From the Mediterranean to the Far East, from the Caribbean. But the two most important ports you sailed into was one, New York. And the reason New York was important because you have a great big lady standing there with a torch up in the air, representing freedom. And when you sail into New York Harbor and you see that beautiful statue, you appreciate what you have. The other port is Pearl Harbor. When you steam into Pearl Harbor, we always went past the Arizona, twice. You'd steam past her one time, render honors to port. You'd turn around, pass her again, rendering honors to starboard. So every man on board ship got to salute the Arizona, because that was where World War II started for us. And that ship is the embodiment of what is great about this country. It is the lifeline that keeps us free. Thank you.
Well said. And that dovetails into what I'm going to talk about very briefly. First of all, I want to point out that I am a civilian. I'm the director of the COD, and I think I have the greatest job in the world. I have the opportunity to preserve the memory of my boyhood heroes, and of course as an adult, certainly my heroes, the men and women of the military, and particularly submariners. And I am blessed to have the finest crew of any of the memorial ships. Now, there's a number of these vessels around the country, and in fact, around the world. And our mission, of course, is to preserve history so that we would know the price of freedom. We know primarily that freedom is not free. And at COD, if those of you that have been here for a long time know that COD didn't always look like this. She sort of looked like a Thanksgiving turkey a day after the meal. The bones were there, but the juicy bits were missing. And our job as civilian curators and stewards of this National Historic Landmark was to return her to a semblance of her fighting glory. Not to glorify war, but to remind people what was required to preserve our freedom. And we have a wonderful mix of civilians, veterans, some are even submarine veterans, I'm proud to say, and members of our crew. But quite a bit of the heavy lifting is done by civilians. And they work primarily as volunteers. And they are called to do anything from give tours to swing paintbrushes, coordinate events like this one today. And it is very fitting that we are here today to talk about the Navy's pennant that you see flying from our battle gaff here. This is a new acquisition. Back in September, USS Cod attended the Historic Naval Ship Association meeting, which this year was in Pearl Harbor. It was hosted by the battleship Missouri. And I, representing the COD crew, was presented with the Navy's E for Excellence banner for preservation and maintenance. This is a new program that was started to honor outstanding ships doing a great job in preserving naval heritage. So it's with great pride that we fly this Navy Excellence banner today that was presented to us on the fantail of the Missouri at Pearl Harbor, just a few yards away from that hallowed wreck of the Arizona. Let me tell you, the lump in my throat was as big as the turrets on that battleship. And it was a great honor. In fact, I'll go as far as to say it was the absolute greatest honor I've ever had, was to accept this honor on behalf of our crew of outstanding volunteers and staff. So I want to give a bravo Zulu to the COD crew. Because these ships serve a very vital role today. Once they were conducting unrestricted submarine warfare against the Empire of Japan. Today, like the wreck of the battleship Arizona, that beautiful gleaming white monument that straddles the wreckage of the battleship, which is now, of course, the tomb to almost 1,000 bodies. These serve as a touchstone to our society, our culture, to remind people of the solemn honor that we owe those who gave their last full measure of devotion. So COD, it's a wonderful platform for these events, but it represents that great sacrifice made by a free people to preserve their freedom. And that is our mission going forward, and with your support and this dedicated crew of ours, we hope to do this forever. So that's basically my comments. Now, this is a wreath-laying ceremony, and we are very honored to have representatives of the sons and daughters of Pearl Harbor survivors. So I'm going to invite our honor guard to bring those ladies aboard with the wreath. Now, once they cast the wreath upon the waters, we'll have our 21-gun salute and taps.
Wait for the TV guys. They're coming up. Let's wait for the TV crew. You get on the TV.
Ready?
Up close.
Safety's on. Left, right, face. Present arm. 2.
Now, to conclude our ceremony this year, seeing the wonderful turnout and, of course, the magnificent honor guard, we want to do something special to honor the day, and we certainly want to honor all the members of the U.S. Military Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, everybody that wears a uniform to defend our freedom. So for the first time, and I hope this works, thanks to the Erie Fire Department for their air, and the Cleveland Fire Department other years, and the Collenberg Ship's Whistle Company, Cod is going to fire a master salute with her air horn. Now this was returned to working service by our crew. A shout out to the Vertostics and Daryl and everybody else that had a hand in that. A master salute is 3 long blasts and 2 short blasts. So if you'd like to experience the full measure of this sound, you can move to the front, but I can guarantee you it's loud enough that no matter where you are, you're going to hear that. So, Cod crew, stand by to render master salute at your command. Well, good things are worth waiting for. And certainly to do it safely, we wanted to make sure that all the valves were properly aligned, so that accounted for that delay. But was that worth it, I hope? I see hands clapping, but I'm still here ringing. That concludes our ceremony. Thank you very much. And as you go forward today, keep in mind the men and women who have given that ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, and particularly the men and women who died at Pearl Harbor on that day of infamy 81 years ago. Thank you very much. Again, my shout out to the American Legion Post 572 Honor Guard. Excellent job, ladies and gentlemen.